Hey everyone, I'm Clue. Welcome back to my 10-hour challenge grind for So Dungeon 2. So, we're on to Dimension 3, and this is somewhat decent. There's still a little bit of refinement to be had, but we do make a transition here in Dimension 3 that really helps push the run a lot further than my previous strategy. On that, we're taking the attack relic, but funny enough, even with the levels on the attack relic and the levels on the HP relic, we still are weaker than when we started Dimension 2. The reason for that is because we don't have the heal stone, and I also believe that the weighting on weapon damage is higher than the boost from relics. For whatever reason, I don't know obviously how the calculations work exactly, but it does seem like a stronger weapon adds a lot more damage than just the attack relic upgrade. It's not a flat disparity between the two. Nonetheless, we turn the quests, we sell what we can because we are a bit short on gold, so we don't even have enough to hire 6 straight away, plus we also have to reset. So I do have to sell a few things just to get the extra mystic still. It's not too bad, we do have a bunch of resources. I still need to sort of compile a list of stuff we can actually sell. I know there's a few things like the rusty keys and the light glands that we need later on, but I do sell a few things that I wish I held on to. It would just help with quests and crafting later on, but I sell what I can. We get our 50 extra gold for our last mystic, and off we go. But again, the main thing is we don't get as far as we do in Dimension 2, and this is a huge thing, because A, we don't get as much gold, we don't get as much essence, and we can't really gear ourselves as well as we could in Dimension 2. And this sort of creates a bad feedback loop, where it's going to take us a lot longer to actually push through Dimension 3 than Dimension 2. Ideally, I would want to get it down to 2 runs again. We should be able to get a lot further with this initial run, and then be able to gear ourselves a lot more accordingly to be able to do the second segment of Dimension 3. Instead, we do the first run like this, we get a bit of gold, we gear up, we do another run, and then we can actually complete the dimension. And this 3-run segment for Dimension 3 adds on a huge amount of time. It adds on like 20 to 30 minutes, which is huge. But not only that, it obviously wastes a magic clock charge. But an important step right now, so I'm transitioning to nurses. So we got to 21, I believe, on the mystics, which means we're still easily able to get to 25, and I can start leveling up the nurses. Because it's really important that we work towards group heal, and in fact I feel as though I need to get it earlier than I actually do in this run. And group heal is just really good simply because it cuts out so many animations. The ability to fight, say, a 4-enemy room, wipe only 1 enemy because we lack the damage, but then heal all 3 attacks in 1 animation is just a huge time save. On that, we're just trying to gear up. Again, it's sort of a shame because at this point in Dimension 2 I could double upgrade everything. I can't. With crafting and buying everything I want to buy, I can barely upgrade things. I can't even really get gear. It is something that I need to refine, I need to look at, because there should be a better way of doing it, even if it's just grinding up, say, more iron in Dimension 2, but that doesn't really work either, because when you have the magic clock, you can't obviously force quit and reset the blacksmith to buy more resources. So there's still a bit of tinkering to be done. Again, I'm going to go back to this idea that I need to spend more time in Dimension 1 really setting up for the future, because saving magic clock charges, cutting out runs in these earlier dimensions is just going to be a huge time save in itself. If I can cut out the 3rd run from this dimension, then I should theoretically be able to add half an hour to the time I spend in Dimension 1. So that's the mentality I need to have going forward. Other than that, everyone's decked out. Upgrading the relics as best as I can. I do think I need to weight the HP relic a bit better. I'm also creating a new script so that we can heal. I can't ideally use the nurses because we don't have recharge, so I still need to just settle with the heal stone. But we can heal, on the bosses or on some weaker enemies. We have a little bit of leeway because we do have a decent chunk of mana, but we will run through it obviously eventually. But hopefully we can use it to push a bit further. Other than that, it's just about setting up healing as a priority and then making sure that we default attack. I can't use Torment as well as I could previously, so it's really a fine line to tackle because Torment does speed up the later floors, simply because we can clear them in a lot fewer hits since we're spreading out the damage, and we're actually doing 4 times as much damage on a 4-enemy room than we normally would just through hitting. Again, this is the big issue, is a lot of the strategies I'm using are new. I have to come up with them on the fly because I'm doing the previous dimension different, and I can't really just cycle through it. It's this whole chain of events. But anyway, we get to 223. The whale's upgraded. We're almost to 25. I wish we got to 25. That would make the next run a lot better, but it's not a big deal. Again, I'm going to try and push 25 earlier. If we get to 25 on the first run of this dimension, then I feel we could easily do it in 2 runs, simply because we can recover through all the damage. We can focus the HP relic more than the attack relic and just survive. I definitely need to start valuing survivability over damage and clear time, because being able to just push further is such a big thing. Because again, I'm cycling through the dimensions, which is another bad habit. So what I mean is I'm starting from 0 every time, and that way I get the most use out of the magic clock, I get the most essence, I get the most gold, but that's really just a waste of time. Because, sorry, you don't even get more gold. That's a wrong thought to have. The way gold works in Soda Dungeon, you get more gold later on, so it just eclipses past the amount of gold you get early. But anyway, we're all geared up. There's not really much else to this dimension. In fact, the majority of them going forward are only slight tweaks and variations. Obviously, we still have to plan a few things and get gear, also focus on upgrading, but for the most part, we're good to go. We can try and do some quests. Again, at this point, we should have enough gold going forward. We should be able to get inheritance pretty soon, if not this dimension, the next dimension, I believe. So yeah, it's really not that hard of a run. It's just long, and it's just a really fine balance between upgrades, boosting X relics, and obviously making sure that you can clear X runs in X speed. Other than that, this boss is significantly easier than the Chameleon, especially with the frying pan. The frying pan's burn damage is just awesome. Being able to status anything is just, I didn't realize how much damage it does. So even right now, on the nurses, well, actually I don't have recharge, so I can understand why I'm not. I'm using it to heal. But it would be valuable to try and poison the boss, just because it is a substantial amount of damage. It would definitely speed up the boss encounter. I don't think we've actually got a burn yet, have we? Which kinda sucks, but it's not too bad. We still have a decent chunk in damage. I could probably reduce it a little and focus on HP. I do have to work out sort of the max damage of each boss so that I can plan HP accordingly, because while we have the nurses, we're full healing. So if I just have enough HP to survive one hit, then we're fine. He hasn't actually used his bubble attack, which is really, really good for us. I think I got pretty lucky on this boss in terms of RNG. But anyway, that's the dimension done. Upgrade-wise, what exactly have we done? We've gotten the Mystic should hit 25 here, which is perfect. It means we can cut out the second Mystic and just run 1 Mystic, 5 nurses, get the nurses 25. We've also upgraded the kitchen a few more times, stacked our HP. We're looking good, but this is also where troubles start, because we spent an extra 30 minutes on this run, when if I could have cleared the previous run. You know, this took me, what was it? It's 3 hours 25 our finish time. I think we started around 2 hours something. So I think it's close to an hour 15, hour and a half. But that means I could have done the dimension 40 minutes, which is huge in the grand scheme of things. I also have to sort of figure out what I should be buying and gold caps, because again, I leave this dimension with way more gold than I really need, and because I have so much gold, I'm sort of flailing about trying to figure out what to grab and what to do, when it should just be power through. The main things we're focusing on are just iron, relics, and levels on the Mystic, Nurse, and Carpenter. They're the only 3 units that I believe we need to use for the run, with the exception of Dimension 6. The Adventures Guild I would love to do, but you can't get enough stuff. Anyway, 325, so pretty decent. Hope you enjoyed.